Good afternoon, everybody. Coming to you today for a few minutes, for like a half an hour. Um, so what I want to let everyone know, my name is Marvin Smith. I'm actually here at my office working, but I decided to dedicate like at least a half an hour to going live. First of all and foremost, I want to thank everybody for sending and their love and their wishes and their condolences um, towards me and my family. As you know, as of last Saturday, August 17th at 4 p.m., my father, Marvin Lee Smith Sr., passed away on August 17th at 4 p.m. Um, I want to thank all of you for myself, Marvin Smith Jr., Shantae, and Jacqueline. Jacqueline, most of you know her as Jackie, and Sharon Smith, my father's wife. We want to thank everyone for their love and wishes, and their prayers and their thoughts during this time. As you know, my father's funeral service will be this coming Tuesday, um, in Babylon, New York, Rose Funeral Home. So as I mentioned, today, I'm actually working from my office, so I just want to take a little time, and just talk to you about a couple of things. And the title is Financial Planning for Living and Decease. So as you know, I am an accountant. I have an office here in Pennsylvania where I do tax returns for individuals and business. And um, so on that note, I'm not here to talk about my business. I'm not here to talk about tax returns. I'm not here to talk about financial education in terms of credit education. But what I'm here to talk about is one of the hardest things, and that hardest things was for me at one point before my dad died last Saturday was when my mother passed away in 2009. She passed away a day after her birthday. So her birthday was June 22nd. She died on June 24th, 2009. And one of the things that I was not prepared for, like so many people, was it's a very hard thing to plan someone's homegoing or transition in terms of funeral arrangements. So that was brand new for me back there during that time. And it was hard because for me, my mother was the apple of my eye, and I am my mother's son. So when I say I'm my mother's son, a man's first love is his mother. In my case, my mom was everything to me and still is to me because at one point I was a thought in both my father and mother's mind. And then I went from a thought to living in her womb for 9 months. And in those 9 months, whatever she was going through or whatever she was eating or however she was nurturing her body, all her emotions, that goes into the child. That's why you have what they call the umbilical cord. I call that the covenant between you and the mother. That's my opinion. That's my philosophy. That's my opinion. So I was born October 26th, 1969. But when my mother passed away in June 24th, 2009, that was hard. Um, I never visualized that. I never thought about that because in death, we are all mourning, but in death, when you deal with reality, you deal with life. In death, we become selfish. And we have everyone has a right to grieve. Everyone has a right to hold on. Everyone has a right to be selfish in that moment. And at that moment, sometimes you're also mad at God and you ask God why. So sometimes people in their response, in my opinion, is not always the right thing to say when they say, well, your mother, father, or your loved one's in a better place. I think those type of words are not needed. It should not be said. When someone is mourning death, the only thing that you can say is, I'm here to be an ear. Sometimes the best advice is silence. It's always good to lend an ear. So that's my opinion. So when my mother passed away, I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to hear that she was in a better place. She went to heaven because no one has ever seen the dead come back and tell, is there heaven or hell? This is just opinion, not factual. So when my dad passed away last Saturday, that was hard because me and Shantae and Sharon, we went up to the hospital that Friday uh, to go see him. And the other relatives that came down from my aunt and them came down from Maryland that Thursday. And when I saw the picture that was sent, his eyes was pretty much closed. When we got there that Friday, he was on the respirator or what they call the ventilator. And when you're on the ventilator, that is to help you breathe. That's actually keeping you alive, but you're really dead. But it's actually keeping you alive if you really think about it. So that Friday when we arrived there, me and Sean, we drove from Philly all the way down there. And when we got there, his eyes was open. And I said to myself, and I was telling Shantae and Sharon, the reason why his eyes was open because he wanted to see us one last time. And everyone said their wishes and walked out the room, and I left out last. I grabbed his hand and said, "I'll see you later." And as I walk out and I turn my back, I can see his head pointed towards my direction. So he had one more good look at us before he transitioned on that Saturday when we got the call. So the title of this live is Financial Planning for the Living for Living and Deceased. A lot of people, how many of you out there have life insurance? And there's two. I want to keep it basic. There are many different type of life insurance, but I want to keep it basic. One is called term life, and the other one is called whole life. Term life sometimes come in increments, 10, 15, 20-year policies that you can obtain or buy. Now, with term life, it means what it means. It means it has a term when it expires. Not you as the policyholder. Term life has a term when that policy actually expire based on the number of years that you purchase it. So if you purchase a 10-year policy, and sometimes the amounts could be you can pay from 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 25,000. It all depends. Um, when you purchase the policy, it's better to purchase a policy when you're young. So when you're young, let's say from a baby, I remember Gerber had Gerber Life, and you can get the insurance policy from when the child is born. That's called whole life, right? So when, when you buy it when they're babies, the policy premium monthly, quarterly, or annually is is cheaper based on the age, um, based on if you smoke, if you're a smoker or not. So term life means if I buy a policy for 10 years and let's say $15,000, and I bought it in 2023 or 2024, and it ends 2034. So let's say within those 10 years, on the year 2024, let's say December 31st, 2025, I live going into 2026. That means that policy can expire. That policy expire. It came to an end. Now, that's why it's very important when you take out any life insurance policy, you need to be able to sit down with the broker. And most people, I'm gonna use wealthy people. What they normally do is at the end of every year, they always sit down with the insurance broker or insurance company or provider, and they want to go over their policies because sometimes there's certain things in that policy that need to be reviewed to let you know, do I need to purchase additional insurance? So, for example, a lot of people don't know if you commit suicide, there's no payout, regardless. Um, so I'm going back to term. That's why it's important to understand the meaning of term and whole. Now, whole life means throughout the whole time that you are living. Again, whole life means throughout the whole time you are living. There is no expiration date. So that means you have life insurance throughout your whole life until the day you die. And that's why important. The reason why I mention that is a lot of black people, and I'm going to talk about my people, and this is something I can talk about. A lot of our people, they don't have life insurance because they don't value their life. So what happens is they die, and normally because the black family in the hood or the ghetto or don't think at all, they'll go around and pass the hat, trying to take up a donation because the person that was living didn't handle their responsibility, and then the people around them either don't have the money, don't have any money, because they're not. How would I put it? The Lord said, "My people are destroyed for what? The lack of knowledge. What are they lacking? They're lacking the information as far as understanding how insurance work, life insurance work, car insurance work, credit. So when you are lacking information, what's going to happen is when a crisis or death come, you're not going to be prepared how to handle it. We're not talking about the emotional part. We're not talking about the part you being sad and mourning. Remember, there's a business side of it. Death is also a business. So I would advise, and what I've learned from this whole experience, and I can say Shantae learned, Jackie learned, and Sharon learned from this whole experience. One thing that you could do also is I would advise each and every one of you to go to your local funeral home and get a printout of what the expense is going to be. Another thing, you guys, what I always known but never implemented it. Sometimes you can go to a nursing home and you can have a monthly payment plan. I want you guys to look into that. Go to your local nursing funeral homes and ask them what the cost of when someone die. And they also have a second part what they call prepaid, right? Like prepaid tuition. You can set that up for your children, like the 529 saving plan. That's a prepaid tuition. But funeral homes have what they call prepaid, where you pay monthly to this your local funeral home or funeral home of your choice, and you see if they have that program where the family can now pay money towards that. So when that person die, and I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna be real with you, none of us are prepared for it emotionally. Some are not even prepared financially for it. But like I said, the Lord said, Hosea 4 and 6, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. I'm gonna reinterpret that a little bit. The people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Now I'm including all races. It ain't just a black thing. There's a lot of people don't know. But now I'm gonna now put the attention on us now. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because what? They reject. And I'm gonna cue that old silly saying, if you wanna if you want to keep something from a black person, put it in a book. I think different. I think that when that saying should be, if the reason why our people don't go pursue the information, that worked back there during the time of slavery or during the Jim Crow era when black people was not could not let anyone that they knew let slave masters know that they know how to read or they would be put to death. That's not an excuse no more because we have all this information, we have all this knowledge now. Um, and some of it's lies and truth is mixed with, it, but you just have to decipher what is the truth. But that's still not an excuse why you don't know. So when I broke down the on basic terms, term and whole. The other thing is, um, during when you're planning someone's funeral, there's a lot. There's the flowers, there's the eulogy, there's a casket. There's so much expenses that none of us are prepared for. And to be honest, whether you have money or not, this is not something that you sometimes you can deal with. It depends on how you are built. Everybody's not built to take care of things. Some people don't know how to take care of things. Some people don't give a damn how it goes. But it's important as a family and as you as an individual know who's around you and how they think and how they move. That's very important. Um, because at that point, your life and your legacy or whatever or whoever you are is in the hands of those around you. Because when you're gone, you don't have to worry about paying a mortgage. But guess what? If you die in debt, what happens to that debt? So I'm talking about each and every one of you out there. You should get life insurance. Put life insurance on your parents, your children, and mainly yourself. Understand the difference between terms and whole life. When you're speaking to one of these insurance companies like Allstate or State Farm, even Progressive, any insurance company that provide life insurance, Aflac, you have to learn how to ask questions. You have to learn how to do research. Without questions and research, they can give you anything, and you don't know because I always say the reason why they put things in fine print is because one, the reason why they call it fine print and it's so small, they know that no one's gonna try to read it. But that's the main part of the agreement, the fine print. And that's very important to read. It's very important to read so you can learn how to speak, learn how to write. When you don't read, your comprehension, your ability to listen and interpret, that's the problem now. So a lot of time when you go to college, they have a course called critical thinking. Right. Because many people don't read anymore. Many people on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and many of our people don't take the time to read. They're sitting around here and say, oh, this is the white man, this and the white man that. And me as a black person, I never measure myself to the white man. No one is more superior than me. I put no one above me or before me. I don't have that mindset. I'm not walking around here talking about the white man. When in America we have all different type of nationalities. We have the Asians and people from India. So not to get I digress and not to get sidetracked. So the title is financial planning for the living. So the main thing is life insurance. The other thing is what's important. You should each and every one you should go to a funeral home and ask what the cost is. I mean, I don't like talking about death, but it's a reality. You come in and you have to go. Like the door has two sides. One when you enter and the other one when you leave. So that's two components. The other component is how many of you out there have like a cloud drive where let's say for example, like you have a lot of you have Gmail. I'm gonna use Gmail. A lot of you have Gmail, but Gmail has something called Google Drive, where all your documents like life insurance. I didn't say put bank statements up there. You don't have to put it there. But you can have a family cloud drive where your life insurance policies is up in there. So when your loved one die, um, you have access to that information. And the reason why I mention that is because me being an accountant and dealing with people, what I realize people are not organized because everything is online, like your bank statements and all that. But people, even your pay stubs, people don't are not organized. So they're not organized as far as organizing their bills, organizing their important documents. So whenever he or she died, if that person's not organized, where do you go look? And good thing that we had access to something because I will admit my father was like a hoarder. Man, he got envelopes going back years. So now, can you imagine trying to go through all those documents and filter and sift through those documents? But thank God, we had certain things. But the teachable moment with this here is that what I've learned is that you have to plan. You have to sit down as a family and plan. and put aside your personal feelings, your religion. You have to put aside your religion and your personal feelings when you're doing business. That's why Malcolm X said that what? He said Islam is my personal belief, but when it comes to a black man or black issues, they're my issues. What did Malcolm mean? He meant that what? Anytime you bring your personal religion or beliefs into a conversation or issue or problem, it will not get solved. It's kind of like having a Baptist, a Catholic, a Muslim. If they bring their beliefs into this situation, a problem, 9 out of 10, they won't get solved. And it's very important as a family that you educate yourself. It's not fair that one person know everything. It's not fair at all. You need to educate yourself. No excuse. Put aside whatever you're doing. Dedicate an hour a day to reading a book. Subscribing to Audible. That teach you how to listen. Someone is reading to you, but it's good to pick up a book and read. Read your local newspaper. Read the TV guide when they should print them out. Read something. Read even through your email. You get articles. Read them. An hour a day. And 1 hour. Stay off your cell phone. Read something 1 hour a day. So when you're in front of someone, you got some common sense and you have some knowledge and education. Doesn't cost you anything. But remember, life is a classroom. We all must pay tuition. So nothing in life is free. Lack of knowledge is going to cost you. So what I'm talking about is the third thing. I mentioned three things: life insurance, going to a funeral home, understand what the cost is, and third thing I mentioned a cloud drive. Let's say a Google Drive or Dropbox, and it's for the family, and they can upload their life insurance policies up there. You could create something in Google Docs. Google Docs is part of Google. Google has Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Spreadsheet, and you have to teach yourself these things. A lot of you so occupied with posting selfies on Facebook. A lot of you are obsessed with Instagram. A lot of you are obsessed with TikTok. There's nothing wrong with that, but take time out. Take time out to learn these things. So I mentioned those things, and with the cloud drives, Dropbox and Google Drive, you can create folders for family. I say Marvin Smith, Shantae, Jackie, Sharon, your family, and you upload your life insurance policies in there. So if something happened, someone can be appointed to go pull this information out, right? Let's say you didn't. Let's say your loved ones didn't have this around. Do you know the policy number? Do you know what type of life insurance they got? Who is the provider of the life insurance? Is it through? I want to mention. Is it through Allstate, State Farm, Geico? Yeah, Geico, Progressive. Who is the insurance provider or broker that gave this policy to your mother, your father, your brother, whomever? Those are things that you need to know because guess what? If you don't have that information, then a couple of things happen. There can be no funeral. You have to cremate the person. How does that work? If that person's on public assistance, now you go down to the welfare office, you go down to the social service office, right? And I'm gonna teach you something. A lot of times your parents can't have no assets. You got to get rid of those things. So now there's something called the 5 year look back for Medicaid. And I'll further go into I would like to bring somebody on to discuss these things. Then there's something called the Medicaid state recovery. Let's say your family member is approved for Medicare to Medicaid. Now the nursing homes get paid. So there's a lot of things that people gotta learn. So I mentioned that. The other thing I want to talk about is let's say, for example, you can create a family fund bank account. Go to one of these credit unions, within your state, open up a free checking account, and have the family members. Most of the time, it's all say all the family members signed up for Zelle, not Cash App, because banks do not use Cash App. You want to set up through Zelle. Everyone sign up through Zelle. And then what happens is everyone in the family who else contribute, but before you contribute, what you want to do is you want to set up what they call a trustee or a board of five, let's say a board of 5 people. These are the overseers, right? Whom everybody vote on and they talk about. So now what happens is every week, and I'm gonna make it simple. Every family member who participates in this fund, this is for death. This is not talking about you loaning the family money because they want a pair of Jordans. They want the latest pocketbooks and wigs. They want the latest cars or pay my rent. No, that's your responsibility as an individual. But this fund is going to be set up for if a loved one passed away because there's flowers, there's the casket, there's so much involved, the viewing, everything. So each family member that decides to participate, let's say 100 family members participate, each one can give $5 a week. That's $25 a month for 12 months. And that continues on and on. And if one of the family members die, let's say that family member uh, had life insurance, and a lot of times for your parents, when they get like 67 years old, sometimes the policy can be for 7,500. That's all they have. But then there's other expenses that you don't husband that you didn't foresee or don't have. And then this fund, once it's approved by the committee board, now you cut that person can go you go to the bank and you get a certified check, which is certified funds, and you can make it out to the funeral home. And now you just replenish. Everybody keep on putting money back into this fund, the burial fund account, family burial fund account. And what you're basically doing is you are putting yourself in a position to where you're not passing the hat around at the last minute. You got to buy them a suit or a dress. Every black man should have a suit. Every black man should know how to make a tie, not a clip on, not a bow tie. You can have that, but learn how to make a tie. If you don't know how to make one, go on YouTube. They got lessons to show you how to do that. Every black woman should have a dress. These are the things, right? So as I move on, once you set up that special fund account, everybody put in $5 every week. They can sell it right into that account. Or sell it to the board and that board transfer that money. Then the next step is to really be organized. You can get an accounting program where it'll have all the family members' names and let you know how much each one of them contribute to the account. And if you don't understand how to do it, you can hire me. And I do it on a quarterly basis. And I tell you how much John and Jane and Kim, Tanisha or Trina, how much they've put into the fund. And I can also let you know who have not been consistent with putting into the fund. So you see where I'm going with this? What's the title? Financial planning. Planning financially for the living and deceased. How many of you out there have life insurance? How many? If I was to take a poll amongst my people, even in the hood, how many of you in the hood, Bedford Stuyvesant, Crown Heights, Albany Projects, Marcy Projects, Fort Greene Projects, East New York, how many of you out there in them areas have life insurance? Because there's so many black men dying every day. And the mama and daddy don't have no life insurance. So now they got to pass around the hat. Don't you know it costs to hire a preacher? It costs to hire a singer? Oh, yeah. It's a lot of things. So, as I mentioned, I want to thank everyone for sending out their love and prayers and wishes to me, Shantae, Jackie, Sharon. We really appreciate it. It's not easy for to prepare this. This is hard, man. It really is. Um, so as I mentioned, I like to thank my family. I like to thank my friends. I like to thank my Facebook friends and family for all your love, your support, your wishes to us in this time. And everyone else is going through this too. And as I mentioned, I didn't come on here to talk about my own business and what I do for a living. Well, I just felt compelled to make this video, and it's true. Many of you out there, once you watch this video, you're going to be able to relate to what I'm saying. And I'm hoping that this video will spark many of you to re examine yourself and say, well, you know what? You might not agree with everything that I'm saying. Maybe you don't like my delivery. I don't know. But what I'm hoping that you take from this is put these things into action. Look at your life insurance policy. Set up that online cloud drive, Dropbox or Google Drive, and you can share the drive with everybody, and everyone put their insurance policy. But you're going to name it by within the drive. You can have what they call subfolders, names of everyone on there, and you put their policies on there. And then another thing, each and every one of you out there need to invest into three things. Everyone out there should have a computer, which is a CPU, which is a desktop with monitors. Second, a laptop. And third, you should have an all-in-one printer that can copy, fax, scan. We I mentioned scan when you're doing an obituary or a eulogy. You get the template, but then you have to go to Staples. How many of you out there know what Staples is? Staples, Staples. That's where you get office supplies, and Staples do a lot of things. A lot of times you go to your local FedEx, which is FedEx and Kinko's, where they do printing. How many of you know that? How many of you have these type of stores in your community? How many of you know where the FedEx located in your area or Staples located area? How many of you have an all-in-one printer? A lot of you more interested in buying a flat screen TV at the end of the year. You don't need a TV for every year because the one that's in your house ain't nothing wrong with it. But you got to have the latest flat screen TV. When you make these investments, then anything else after that you can do. Like I said, everyone should have a desktop with a monitor or monitors, with a desk, laptop, and an all-in-one printer. I'm here at my office and I'm working under these conditions, but I have to work. I got to work, and so I want to thank everybody out there in social media land and Facebook, everyone. And I made plenty of videos. I made videos about and I will mention this. My dad and mom died the same way. My mother died from diabetic complication, which led to heart failure, and my father's heart gave out on him. This is all due to diabetes. And I made an actual video because I'm a type 2 diabetic. And I made a video on, I think I called it health, but I made a video and I talked about how when you're discovered with diabetes, what to do. Everyone that has diabetes, whether it's a type 1 or type 2, or you pre-diabetic, you need to go to a diabetic doctor, not your regular doctor. Your regular doctor technically is for annual physicals, but your regular doctor should not be treating you for diabetes, high blood, none of that. You need to go to what they call a specialist, a diabetic specialist. So I have a diabetic doctor. I have a vascular doctor. What is vascular? During the last days of my father's life, his organs started to shut down, and his body retained water. So he was ballooned up, backed up in fluid. So I have a vascular doctor, what they call a cardiovascular doctor or vascular doctor. I have a diabetic doctor. I have a eye doctor. I have a foot doctor. I have to go to the dentist 3 times a year. I was going before that anyway. But I had to go to the dentist, and then the cardiovascular also tell you your blood pressure, and the cardiovascular look at your blood circulation, vascular for organs. I have all that. So if you have these issues, you shouldn't be going to your regular doctor. He or she should not be treating you for these things. You need to go to specialty doctors. Also, to examine your medical coverage. Also, to those who out there at a job and your job is covering you for life insurance, the question that you need to ask is, if I move on to another job, can I take this insurance with me? This life insurance. And I did that for me and my daughter when I was working at one job. I took the life insurance that they gave me and I was able to take that for me and my daughter. And now I own the policy. So the reason you have to be proactive, not non-active in your life. Proactive, not non-active. And the problem with a lot of black people is sometimes you get angry at people that know more than you. You get jealous. You try to tell, oh, you need to be humble. I don't need to be humble about nothing. If I know more than you, that's fine. You're gonna know more than me in certain areas, and I'm gonna know more than you in certain areas. So now let's what we don't know, let's come together and work on that. Put your foolish pride aside. Oh, I don't like what he or she says. Sometimes you might not like a person's delivery because you in your feelings, but they can be telling you the truth. Stop out going sometimes how you feel. Oh, I don't want. Oh, I'm gonna pray on it. Let God have it. That ain't anybody that talk like that. Don't stand next to me. The Lord said, "Faith without what works is dead. Like the spirit without the body is dead." You got to put this work in. You got to work. Even an evil man has faith in what he believes in his evilness. Even a righteous man has faith in his righteousness. A drug dealer has faith in his wickedness or his lifestyle. Whatever you do, faith without works is dead. There are people I say, well, I can have faith. I will put it in God's hand. I don't want to be around them people. You know what they're telling you? They're not going to do it. That's why they have so many issues in their life. Because the way they think, as a man thinketh, so is he. You put whatever you think, you put that into the universe. So it's your responsibility. The God that's in you, because we are the manifestation of God. And God has said, what? God blessed the child to have what? His own. And Christ said, what? You should know every tree. Now, this tree is symbolic. The tree is a family, but now I'm talking about the individual tree. You should know the tree by what? The fruit of his or her labor. How you gonna grow an apple tree if you don't put the seed of an apple in the ground so it can bring forth the tree? You can't hope for an apple tree. You can't wish for an apple tree. It's not gonna be there. You gotta actually go plant that seed, and the earth is gonna mother nature or mother earth is gonna bring it forth as long as you what water it from the rain and all that. Now that tree grows, and from the apples are hanging from the branches of that tree. So you gotta put the work in. So those I want you to take from this video and start examining your life. I need you to be proactive, not non-active. The people that say, "Well, God gonna take care of it," those are non-active people. The people that gonna stand by faith and believe in God, and God give them the energy and the will and the willpower to go out and do this work, those are the proactive people. That's what Christ was talking about. He was talking about the proactive, not the non-active. A lot of you sit out there praying and praying, and your health is in shams. Talking about God gonna take care. No, God put the man and woman here and gave them the knowledge to do what? Save our lives. There's good doctors and bad doctors. But you walking around, oh, or I'm gonna pray it away, or I'm gonna use a natural herb. Guess what? If you don't know what you're doing, you can speed up your death. Some of you die before your time because you got this stupid thinking, this funny way of thinking that, oh, God is gonna take care of it. No, you ask God to give you the energy and the strength to go find a doctor. Thank God I got some good doctors, and I ain't no fool. I know how life works. I know how the spirit moves. God bless a child that got what? His own. He talking about the proactive people, not the non-active. And we got a lot of non-active people around us or in our family that ain't worth nothing. Couldn't rub two nickels together, let alone a penny. But I want to come back with more videos. I'm moved by the spirit to drop some knowledge on you. All right, so I say to everyone, I want to thank all my family, all my friends, and all my loved ones, and everyone from Facebook who have sent up their prayers and their love and their wishes. Last Saturday, August 17th, Marvin Lee Smith Sr. he transitioned. And the funeral will be this coming Tuesday in New York. Maybe I'll come back on later on, let you know where the service is going to be at. Those who can't make it and those who can make it. Um, but I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank the people who I never met on Facebook, who I got friend requests for, sending up wishes, you know. And I want to thank everybody, and I ask each and every one of you to keep me, Marvin Smith Jr., Shantae McLean Smith, Shantae Smith McLean, Jacqueline Smith, and Sharon Smith. Keep us in your prayers. And those who out there, my message to you today was I want you to wake up. I want you to reevaluate your life. Stay off that damn cell phone once in a while. A lot of you be on the cell phone more than you are intimate with your partner. I say it again. Cell phone has broken up a lot of relationships. But this ain't the time and place for me to even talk about that. So a lot of you out there have husbands and wives and family. Take this video. I want you to break it down. And I want you to take what I say and put it into action. The Lord said, what? There was the word. And the word became what? Flesh. So your thoughts, your words can manifest themselves in the physical. All right. So I say peace, love to everybody. And thank you once again. Peace and love to everyone. And I'm going to say what Reverend Knight said. He said, I wish you health, happiness, prosperity, success, love, and money in the abundance of all things.